If you are in a place where it is safe and appropriate, please close your eyes and begin to take some nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. With every inhale, feel more light and peace filling up your body and mind. With every exhale, let go of all tension in your body, along with anything in your mind you do not want. Inhaling peace and exhaling as you let go. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our circle, a bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove with a sacred light. This golden light permeates every aspect of our bodies, minds, and affairs. It is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it easily and efficiently burns away everything unlike itself, leaving us safe and serene. Into this space, we invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us, our Creator reveals themselves to be a mother and father, a goddess and God. We also call upon our guides, our angels, our teachers. We ask that they lead us as we walk upon the way, helping us to become happier, more magical, more powerful, and more loving people. Blessed be. We're going to talk about Lucifer today. Somebody was mentioning that many people who call themselves Luciferians or wear that moniker frequently focus on Lucifer as a type of satanic force. They believe that Lucifer represents a selfishness that eschews any sense of compassion, and that to follow Lucifer is to follow a very selfish path, and to help another person is anti-Luciferian because their definition of Luciferianism is being selfish. First and foremost, the craft needs no defense. Anybody, whether they call it the craft or not, has the liberty to do as they will. I would never assume to tell anybody what they're supposed to do, nor would I assume that Lucifer needed any defense. I'm not interested in debating or making other people's experience of Lucifer wrong, but none of that is how I experience Lucifer at all. I do agree that Lucifer teaches self-interest, but the idea that compassion is antithetical to self-interest is not a very metaphysically astute assumption. Because from the point of view of Luciferian metaphysics as I understand them, learn them, and practice them, everything that we give is what we receive. And that giving and receiving are the same thing. And one precedes the other only in this world. In this world, giving always precedes receiving. In order to receive anything in this world, you must give it. And so to be selfish from the perspective of, I'm not going to give anything, I'm not going to be compassionate, is to withhold them from yourself. Because there's truly only one of us here. We look like we are in a lot of different bodies. We look like we have a lot of different personalities. It seems as though we have purposes that are at odds with one another. But on a grander cosmological level, there's only one divine child, and we're all it. And within the totality of that divine child, there are many expressions of the soul. The idea that Lucifer thought for himself without regard to the Creator's design was the error. It wasn't that Lucifer was trying to be selfish, at least not from the point of view of the story that is the basis for my understanding of who Lucifer is. Lucifer was trying to help, but went about it thinking all by himself rather than in connection with the infinite. It's important to understand that that story has limited value when we think of it as a series of events that may have happened in the past. It really is more powerful if we understand it as symbols of a truth that is ever present now. The idea that Lucifer fell and as a result of the fall inadvertently created a fragment in the human mind and then recognized his error and rose again. If you think about it just in terms of how people are, It's the most natural thing in the world. Made a mistake, and I tried again. I fell down, and I got up again. A parent that was not perfect had a child that made a mistake, rarely would disown them immediately because they made a mistake. Usually they forgive them their mistake. They help them learn from their mistake. They help them fix their mistake. They help them clean up their mistake. So why would it make any sense that when Lucifer made a mistake, fell down, and got back up, that the infinite wasn't supportive of that and trying to help that? Just logically looking at the whole story of Lucifer, it makes sense that there were two sides of the equation. One was the fall and the other was the rise. Now, when Lucifer fell, thinking all by himself, it caused a fragmenting of the entire soul of the divine child of the universe. It created that demiurge, people thinking all by themselves, creating little egos, and then using that vast power of their mind in ways that were unhealthy, in ways that kept them lost. And so Lucifer's perspective was, look what I did. I better fix this. I need to help. And so the creator had a plan, and Lucifer is executing the plan. That's the myth. It's the story of falling and redeeming oneself. Lucifer therefore represents someone who once believed he was separate from God, but later realized that we're all connected to God and to each other. His fall was only an illusion, a moment of forgetting this connection, just like anyone who feels separate from their true self. Now, he became a so-called savior by recognizing false beliefs for what they are and not accepting them as true. And his story reminds us that seeing through illusions is the key to finding truth and returning to our connection with the infinite. Seeing through those illusions, not being hypnotized by them. Lucifer fully recognized himself as the Creator's perfect creation, at one with the Creator, sharing the Creator's happiness. And in doing this, became an example of what we are all meant to be, showing us the way back to the Creator by recognizing and following the path. That path is symbolized by that serpent on the tree of life. And in that way, he helps guide us back to our true home. In the Psalms, that true home is called heaven. He understands the difference between what is true and what is false, even though the distinction between what is true and false is still quite unclear to us. He demonstrates that our Creator's creation cannot be destroyed, and our true life cannot be affected by so-called sin or so-called evil or fear or even death. From that perspective, if you feel like you've made mistakes, you feel like a sinner, recognize that your sins were forgiven the very second you made the mistake, because the Creator doesn't see things as sins. The divine wants to heal. The divine wants us to be happy. That's the divine's will for us, to be happy, not to be punished, not to be separated. And so Lucifer's whole purpose is to be a helper to the divine, to fix his mistake. Lucifer's not the Creator's only helper. The divine takes many forms and has many names, leading to the same goal, which is oneness. And for me, Lucifer is the bearer of light and the messenger of the Creator's love. I personally don't need anyone else. Anybody can benefit from his guidance without fully embracing Lucifer, especially the name, if that's a name that's bothersome for you. However, Lucifer can help us to find peace because he's already found it. He's already overcome his ego. He had to, but he did it for our sake. Lucifer made a mistake and caused a problem for everybody and didn't intend to do that. And his first response to that was, I better fix this. I better help. I don't want all of my brothers and sisters to be lost in the ego. I don't want them to be lost in the demiurge. That wasn't my purpose. But because of what I did, it's happened. So now I need to help them. And I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until every single last soul remembers who they are. You don't need help to reach, quote, heaven, because in reality, you never left it. We do need help to see past the false beliefs about who we are. We were created with a true identity, and we believe that we are something else. The Creator doesn't will that, and so constantly is sending helpers to help us. And the helpers come in many forms, but at their core, they're all the same, expressions of pure love. And these helpers have different names, but the purpose is always the same. The Creator doesn't, quote, help in the way that we think, because the Creator doesn't know lack. The Creator doesn't know need. The Infinite provides helpers to guide us while we believe in illusions, while we believe in lack, while we believe in need. So if the name Lucifer or if the concept of Lucifer doesn't agree with you, you don't use it. Find something that does. Lucifer's main message is that there's no death, because the divine child is just like its creator. Nothing that we do here can change eternal love. The idea of the ego is one that's based on I must be separate. Now, if you need to be separate from eternal love, what's the way that you do that? By making up stories about how unloving you are, or how bad you are, or how not good enough you are, or how your mistakes are what define you, etc. Guilt and sin, none of that comes from the Creator. Only pure love comes from the Creator. Ultimately, everybody wants to be one with their Creator. Everybody wants to be at home. Everybody wants love. Nobody really wants fear, because fear is always rooted in the idea of loss. But fear doesn't define who you truly are. When you recognize fear in other people and you respond to that fear with compassion, that's how you overcome it. And that's why the idea that Lucifer and compassion don't go together is problematic for me, because then you never overcome your problems. You can't, because you can only get something, you can only receive something by giving it. So when you give compassion to another person, that's how you overcome your own fear. At its core, fear tries to hide love. And when you bring what's hidden into focus, fear loses its power. But in contrast, love is the foundation of reality. And every defense against love is actually a hidden cry for love. And anytime you answer the cry for love from another person, you begin to see the truth yourself. That's how you strengthen your own understanding of the truth, is by giving it to another person. That's why the idea of selfishness is not truly Luciferian from my perspective. Healing happens when we replace fear with truth. That's how we heal. And people often have trouble accepting love, especially from themselves. They may not realize that the love that they seek is already within them. But by you helping them to see this truth, you help them heal, and that's how you heal yourself. Now, you don't have to do this in words. You don't have to tell people, oh, love yourself. That usually doesn't work. But you can see the love in them. You can see past their problems. You can see past their illnesses. You can see past their personality. And you can see who they are as a loving soul internally. And when you do that, you help them more than you could even imagine, but you also help yourself, because that strengthens your own connection to everybody else and thus to your Creator. Think of fear like a fog. It's only hiding the light within us, but it can't extinguish the light. The more we stop giving fear power, the more apparent the light becomes. Remembering this truth for yourself helps other people remember it, because none of us are alone. We are all part of a greater whole. That's the whole idea of redemption. That's the whole idea of the rise of Lucifer, is to remember that we are one. Not letting go of all of our wonderful uniqueness either. We are one and we still are unique souls, both at the same time. When somebody else is struggling, what they're asking for is love. Even though they don't seem like it, even though they might seem real awful. But what they're asking for is love. And when you respond to them with love, it helps them but it really helps you because it solidifies the truth in your own mind and in your own experience. And this is why compassion is very important and very powerful. Think about how children are afraid of things that they don't understand. Their fears fade when they feel safe asking an adult for help. But we as adults often hide our fears, pretending that we know everything. Then we act like children, hiding under blankets, staying in the dark, avoiding what we're afraid to face. But when we confront our fears, we realize that our fears have no substance. Facing them brings us peace, and love is always waiting on the other side. Remember that. Also remember that your purpose comes to you from your Creator. You were created with a purpose. And your true purpose, the divine design of your life, cannot fail. Now, fear may block your way for some time, but that purpose within you is inevitable. And love is the ultimate truth. Fear only exists when we deny truth. The more we trust in love and our own shared journey with one another, the closer we come to peace. Perfection already exists inside each and every one of us, and nothing can hide it. We just have to stop hiding from ourselves. Letting go of fear can seem challenging, but fear has no power. The Creator is always with us, and the truth of love is always eternal. And when we embrace truth, we find freedom. We find that connection, and we find the peace that's always been available to us. If you imagine relaxation, you can relax tension and find peace, but you can't relax peace. Peace is always there. It's always the constant. You can let go of all the distractions from peace. You can let go of all the fear. You can let go of all the tension, but you will never find a way to let go of the peace. You can obscure your experience of the peace with more tension or more distractions, but when you let go of the distractions and you let go of the tension, peace is always there. That's because that's what you were created with. And peace and love are synonymous. So Lucifer soon will be revealed, not because he's hidden, but because we hide. We hide from Lucifer. And Lucifer will help awaken us just as he awakened himself, because his awakening was for our benefit. Lucifer's rise represents our own rise and our own freedom. Instead of these Luciferian people that are so preoccupied with the fall, we want to disregard the fall and embrace instead the risen Lucifer and not avoid rising ourselves. If you trust Lucifer's guidance on that serpent path, he'll always walk alongside you. Just as the Creator supported him, he supports us. And his path is one of peace. And that peace is always with us on this journey. And your program is an individualized curriculum specific to you. And it's been designed to show you how to give the Shekinah everything that you don't want or need. And she's there for you. And she knows how to handle it, even if you don't know how to handle it. And anything that isn't true or loving disappears once you bring it to her. But first, you must be honest with yourself and recognize it, or her work can't help you. The Shekinah's goal for you is to help you, and she won't fail if you allow yourself to be honest with what you're feeling, what your fears are, and you bring them to her. Wouldn't it be better to face your fears head on and let them go for good instead of constantly living in fear of the world around you? This is exactly what this path is all about. The common story of Lucifer is that he was evil, or he was Satan, or he was cast into hell and is eternally punished and is trying to steal souls, all of that stuff. None of that makes any sense to us. That's all just noise. And the reason why that noise is there is because the ego wants to help avoid our own redemption. But we can't avoid our own redemption forever. We can only delay it. And so for me, I turn and face each and every fear, each and every problem, but I know that I don't do it alone. Shekinah is always with me, and Lucifer is always with anybody who wants to recognize him. Now, if that's not a comfortable image or a comfortable name, it doesn't matter. The helper that you need will show up in whatever form needs to be taken in order for you to complete this work. But the work always is the same, rising up from the ashes of separation and into the truth of connection, both with one another and with our Creator. Thank you very much for joining me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.